Hi, I'm Starborn. Remember, to be a star, you need to shine your own light, follow your own path, and not be afraid of the darkness, because that's when stars shine brightest. We may need a little extra light in our lives this week, because the title of tonight's Starborn show is called Endings. And that is because all 10 planets, all of them up there, are being harshly aspected by some other planet. So there may be one or possibly two endings that are coming up for all of us right now in different ways. And that is because there is a planet that's at the 29th degree of fate right now. And since that's the last degree in a sign, we say that any planet at the 29th degree means that something is either on or over. And that's what's happening with Saturn, which is at the 29th degree of Pisces, a double-bodied sign, right now. And so we see that there's the possibility of two endings that could happen, and some of them can happen behind the scenes, because that's what Pisces rules. And so it can be due for a variety of reasons. It can be that an ending comes up because there has been some hidden information that comes out that is suddenly revealed, despite the fact that other people may have been trying to sort of cover that up or hide that in some way. It could have something to do with a financial matter that is coming to an end, and that is because the last decan of Pisces, the last 10 degrees of Pisces, are sub-ruled by Mars and Pluto. The Mars and Pluto that rules Scorpio, which is a fixed financial sign. And Scorpio rules credit, debt, taxes, loans, insurance, inheritance, and grants. So there could be some ending among those types of things right now, since Saturn, which is the planet of delay, but also the planet of time, is at that fateful 29th degree in Pisces. Pisces is a mutable, double-bodied sign. And so there are 4 planets, actually, right now, in the mutable signs in a harsh T-cross. And that can lead to endings. And that is because Saturn is in Pisces, but it is being opposed by Mercury in Virgo and by the Sun in Virgo. Mercury is the ruler of the sign, so it's even stronger than the Sun there. And Mercury is at 15 degrees of Virgo, and the Sun is at 18 degrees of Virgo. But that is very unfortunate for the poor old Sun. And that is because the Sun is exactly conjuncting perfectly the unlucky south node of the Moon, which is also at 18 degrees of Virgo. And Saturn in Pisces is opposing all of that. And so the unlucky south node of the Moon is an indication of a woman, since it's the Moon and the Moon rules women, who is an absolute nag. Now, or they're in a bad mood, or they're always demanding things from others and not exactly giving too much back in return. And so they really are quarrelsome or demanding, and the Sun in Virgo is right on top of that unlucky south node of the Moon today, right now. So try to stay away from women that are, they've really sort of got it in for anybody that gets in their way, so I hope that's not you. But these 3 planets, Saturn in Pisces and the Moon and the Sun and Mercury in Virgo, are all being squared by the 4th planet in a mutable sign, Uranus, which is now retrograde in Gemini. Gemini rules youth. It also rules all short forms of communication and short travels, short journeys, and it generally rules early childhood education. So that Uranus is squaring Saturn, and that Uranus is squaring the Sun and Mercury in Virgo. So that's too bad, because Saturn in Pisces is one malefic planet and Uranus in Gemini is another. And that too can be indicating even some sort of sudden change that results in an ending. And it can be an ending, the type of ending that someone brings upon themselves. In other words, it's an ending because of self-undoing. So you don't need to feel sorry for whoever that's happening to, because they sort of asked for it. And so an ending is on the way in that respect. But there could be an ending as well because of some sudden news that comes out that can indicate not only are there a change in plans or a change in particularly career direction Virgo rules jobs. But also it could indicate that somebody who may have been sort of hiding information or not exactly telling the whole truth about something could see that information revealed, and therefore some long anticipated revenue that they thought was coming to them may be ending and not coming to them at all. And that is because Saturn is at the last decan of Pisces. Remember, it's opposing the planets in Virgo and being squared by Uranus and Gemini. And that Saturn in the last decan of Pisces is subruled by Scorpio, and Scorpio is a fixed financial sign. And so there can be somebody who's having unfortunate news come out right now that is going to result not only in an ending, but a loss of some long anticipated revenue that they were expecting. But there's more than that going on. There are another 4 planets that are in the cardinal signs, and they are in a harsh T-cross as well. And that is because Mars, Mars is in Libra. It's not happy in Libra because Libra is a sign ruled by Venus, and Libra rules the law, and so it can indicate lawsuits, particularly losing lawsuits that I hope nobody gets in. But that Mars in Libra is opposing Neptune in Aries, which rules new beginnings, and the moon today is also in Aries. It's at 25 degrees of Aries, and Mars is at 22 degrees of Libra. That's a very close opposition, and it's also opposing Neptune. Somebody's been kidding themselves about a new beginning that isn't going to fly right now, and it can be because of a losing lawsuit or a breakup in a partnership, or it can simply be that people are just not getting along, or else once again there can be a sort of a cover-up that comes out, and that sort of changes things for people, because these 3 planets, Mars in Libra and Neptune and the moon in Aries, are all being squared by Jupiter, which is exalted in Cancer. Well, the moon rules Cancer, but it's squaring the sign it rules right now. And Jupiter is squaring both the moon and Neptune, and it is squaring Mars in Libra. And since Cancer, and Jupiter is a really good planet, and since Cancer rules real estate, it is or home, or moving, and certainly it rules endings, which is the title of the show today, and it rules the last half of life. There certainly can be an ending coming. And it can be an ending that negates some sort of anticipated move that doesn't happen, or a real estate matter that doesn't go through, or it can be that it's tied up in some legal negotiations, or it could even be that the mortgage terms or the fact that somebody doesn't have enough money to cover their mortgage, all of those things can happen and result in endings as well. And so that's going on. Well, then there's 2 other planets left, and they are both in trouble too. And that is because Venus is in Leo, and it is opposing Pluto, which is in Aquarius, and it is retrograde. This has been going on for a while, and when Venus is squared or opposed by Saturn or Pluto, it is the indication of a betrayal. Well, if there's a betrayal going on, that certainly can indicate an ending as well. And it might be because somebody is insisting on living in the past and their glory days, and there's someone else that is saying, no, I'm fascinated by the future, and I want to go into the future and explore things. That's what Aquarius rules. So there could be a little falling out in that respect, because oppositions always represent separations. And so that could bring about an ending as well. And then, to add insult to injury, there are 4 planets that are all retrograde in all of our charts right now. And that is because Uranus is retrograde in Gemini, and then Neptune is retrograde in Aries, Saturn is retrograde in Pisces, and Pluto is retrograde in Aquarius. That covers 1/2 of everybody's chart. All these retrograde planets. Just because all these retrograde planets are sort of in 1/2 of our charts, or in at least 1/2 of our lives, it is an indication that we have to go back and redo something, and it might be because something is ending. And so I want to assure you that yes, endings are coming, possibly 2 of them, But on the other hand, just as the light of day follows the dark of night, it simply means that if anything ends in your life now, it is simply going to open you up to the possibility for new beginnings. And we're about to have a solar eclipse in Virgo at the 29th degree of fate. Both of the lights will be there. Something's really going to be on or over. If something is ending now so that it's over, it's possible that by the solar eclipse in Virgo, something else can be starting anew, because a solar eclipse is a new moon. So keep that in mind. And if you're disappointed by something that is ending, whether it's due to your actions or somebody else's, just think of it as something my aunt used to say, one door has to close before another one can open. So keep that in mind. It doesn't mean the end of everything. It simply means that you're turning a corner and you're going to be able to go in a new direction soon. Okay, what does this mean to all 12 of the sun signs? Aries, for you, I think there really is an ending coming. It's an ending to a new beginning that you may have already started to make, Aries. And you know, it could also be the ending to some sort of plan that you'd had in the back of your mind, even that you weren't telling people about, that may have involved a move or a real estate transaction or some sort of mortgage terms or some sort of legal thing that you are either like a lawsuit that you're already involved in, or it can be that you could be finding out that some revenue that you were expecting is not going to be coming your way after all. And so that would represent an ending. It may not be that you've told everybody about all these things that could be on your mind, Aries, but it does look with like the fact that there's an ending because Mars is your own ruler. It's been in Libra for a while, but it's at 22 degrees today, and the moon today, which rules our feelings and is in your sign, is at 25 degrees. This opposition is very tight. And so, you know, you might feel bad about something since the moon rules our feelings and it's in your sign, but it's better to get over something than to hang on. You know, if you're hanging on to something that's not hanging on to you, what good does it do you, Aries? And so it's really time to move forward for you. You may not be able to do that right now for some sort of financial reason, and this could also involve people that are related to you, in a real estate matter or a home issue or a family issue. It could be that, you know, different people are going in different directions right now. I think you'll have to live with it, Aries. It is fortunate for you that Venus is in Leo trining your sun. Now it's under duress as well because Pluto is opposing it, which it's been doing for weeks now, and that's an indication of a betrayal. And somehow you might be involved in that too. Whether you're betrayed or somebody you know is being betrayed, that could be on your mind as well, Aries. I urge you not to get in any kind of a legal entanglement. You are not aspected to win it. Nobody is aspected to win a lawsuit while Mars is in Libra. So I urge you to start over, to start something new. And, you know, not everything works in life, but that's okay. You can turn a corner. Your sign rules new beginnings. It's what you excel at. And so don't worry about yesterday, Aries. Just try to do your best and go in a new direction, and just keep going. Yours is a fire sign. You've got plenty of energy. You can do that, so good luck. Okay, what does it mean to a Taurus? Well, Taurus, there's only 2 planets in an earth sign right now, so your sign doesn't have any planets in it, neither does Capricorn, but you do have the Sun and Mercury trining your sun because they are in Virgo. Unfortunately, the Sun today is conjunct the very unlucky south node of the moon, which indicates some sort of a woman who's really a nag or is very demanding or even selfish, sort of wants whatever she wants, doesn't care about anybody else. And that Sun is exactly conjuncting that south node of the moon, and that also is trining your sun, Taurus. But I would say, watch out for that person, the person that is a real nag and demanding and wants to you know, have their way no matter what. They're not in anybody's corner. They're not going to be in your corner either, even though the Sun and Mercury are trining your sun. What they are doing that can be of benefit to you, if you can stay away from a nagging person right now, is that they can benefit you if you're wanting to improve your health, or if you're paying more attention to banking matters. And I think you're going to have to do that, Taurus, because all 10 planets are being harshly aspected in one way or another, including that Sun and Mercury in Virgo. They're being opposed by Saturn and squared by Uranus. And so you could be subject to sudden changes right now, Taurus, and it could represent, if you're deciding to sort of turn a corner and go in a new direction, I hope you're doing it in a way that will benefit you. In other words, you've only got these 2 planets trining your Sun, nothing else is, and you have Venus in Leo squaring your Sun, and you have Pluto in Aquarius squaring your Sun as well, which is going to go on for years. Other people are going to go into the future, Taurus, and you may not be interested in going with them. And they may not be interested in asking you to go with them. And, you know, that's okay. You have more important things to be thinking about, Taurus, and one of them is your health. And another one is how you handle your finances, since yours is a fixed financial sign. So I would suggest, since there is the possibility of some anticipated revenue coming to somebody, and I don't think it's going to get there. If that involves you, Taurus, then what you've got to do is just sit down and figure out how to make your money work better for you, and also how to cut costs. And I would really do that if I were you. If you've got your mind on something expensive, Taurus, why don't you put it on the back shelf and think about it later? Because I think you've got to get your costs under control and wait out a period of time when you may not be getting the kind of money that you're expecting to get for one reason or another. So good luck. Just stay calm. Okay, what does it mean to a Gemini? Well, Gemini, Uranus is in your sign. It's a planet of sudden change, and it is retrograde right now. It's going to be heading back into Taurus pretty soon. And so right now, Uranus in your sign is squaring that Saturn at the 29th degree of fate in Pisces. And so there could be something behind the scenes that involves information that has not come to the surface that can represent some sort of a challenge for you, or even an ending, or 2 endings even, since Pisces is a double-bodied sign. At the same time, the Sun and Mercury in Virgo are getting squared by that Uranus in your sign as well. And that simply means that there can be some banking matter, or there can be some matter involving money, either money you thought you were getting, or money that maybe you owe other people, some controversy about that. In other words, your bookwork could say one thing and somebody else's bookwork could say something else, and it would be a little hard to reconcile that right now. In the end, I think you're going to come out the winner, though, Gemini. And the reason why is there's a very strong grand trine in the air signs, which is holding. And that means that Mars in Libra is trining your Sun. I don't advise anybody to get into a lawsuit, but if there is a legal question in your life, Gemini, that has not been fair to you, and once it's decided, it could be in your favor. And so I wouldn't worry about that too much, but I sure wouldn't get in a lawsuit. I don't think this is the time for anybody to do that, but there could be a legal matter, a question that tends to work in your favor after all. And then, and that's because Mars in Libra is trining your Sun. The fact that Pluto in Aquarius is also trining your Sun, and the ruler of Aquarius is Uranus, which is in your Sun sign, means that you can be very interested in the future, and you could have your mind, you could have had several different ideas lately about sort of how to promote your future or somebody else's future, and they could have all been good ideas, but I'm not so sure that they would all be fruitful at the same time. However, you have a very good chance of going forward on some very creative idea that has a future to it. You know, it's something in the future that you want to do, and it looks to me like you could do it. And even if there were some endings in your life, they would turn out to be fortunate for you, not unfortunate. But still, you need to watch out for this nagging person that's around. Somebody who's complaining, or no matter what you say, it isn't right. So you need to be watching out for that, because the Sun and Mercury are squaring your Sun. and Saturn in Pisces is opposing. Do you see what I mean? Once again, you have to sort of stay in the middle. Stay in the middle of the road, Gemini. Don't take sides with anybody. And just try to keep a smile on your face and keep going, because there is the possibility under this very strong grand trine in the air signs that quite suddenly some matter can be resolved, and it would be resolved in your favor. So hang in there. All right, what does it mean to a Cancer? Well, Cancer. This is a time, Cancer, when you can be facing some sort of an ending. Well, that's not so bad, Cancer. Your sign rules endings. The people who do the best endings are Cancers. Takes them a long time to do them, but they're very good at that. And Jupiter is exalted in your sign for a year now. It'll stay in your sign for a year. And even though it is being squared forcefully by the moon, your own ruler, at 25 degrees in Aries today, and by Neptune in Aries, which is retrograde at 0 degrees in Aries. It's about to leave Aries. Even though they're squaring your sun, and Mars in Libra at 22 degrees today is squaring your sun as well. It can be that some legal matter that you are involved with, or a partnership issue, or a real estate or mortgage issue right now, is going to have to sort of work itself out in one way or another, Cancer. But you know, Cancer, behind the scenes, you could really somehow, if you're in a sticky situation, you could probably get out of it. And that is because Pisces rules escape. And Saturn is at the 29th degree of fate in Pisces, trining Jupiter in your sign. And since it's at the 29th degree, it's in the last decan of Pisces, which is sub-ruled by Mars and Pluto, which rules Scorpio, and Scorpio itself, although there's no planet in Scorpio right now, its rulers are, well, they're trining each other, and your sign trines Scorpio. That's why I'm saying there can be a financial issue, whether it's involving some sort of legal issue that really ought to get settled. You know, if you prolong legal issues, all you do is making the lawyers rich. You know, it's all on your nickel. And so, you know, you should try to make peace with somebody, even if it isn't on the fairest of terms, and then write it off. Just leave it alone. There is an ending. There could be two endings in your life, Cancer. They would be very fortunate endings. You have Jupiter in your sign. It's not like we don't all make mistakes. We do. And this is a very good time, Cancer, for you to consider how you can sort of get out of some mistakes that you have made, or false starts that you have made this year. And if you're involved in any kind of partnership issue or legal issue, because Mars in Libra is squaring your sun, I would say in your own very quiet way, you should sort of try to settle any legal issue. If it costs you money to settle it, you'd still be wasting the money on a legal issue. If you prolong the legal issue, you should just end something. And you're very good at endings. And also there can be some sort of an anticipated move that doesn't work out for somebody. It could be somebody behind the scenes. It could be somebody who had been, not you, but somebody you know that has been anticipating a move, but maybe they're having problems qualifying for the mortgage. Or maybe they don't have the money, but they want to borrow it from you. You know, sticky little things like that, Cancer. And you should try not to get in the middle of all that. You have Jupiter in your sign. You're doing just fine, Cancer. And so if you were able to tell a few people, oh, I'm a little bit too busy right now, or I've got something else planned and I've got to keep my schedule going, that would be a good idea, Cancer. Just try to preserve your own peace of mind. And you know, if somebody else is a victim of news that they were hiding behind the scenes and it comes out, and so they're in a little bit of a problem, it would be self-induced. They would have done it to themselves. It's not up to you to bail everybody out in the world, Cancer. It's a better time for you to be good to yourself, because Jupiter isn't going to be in your sign for another 12 years. And so this is a little bit better time for you just to concentrate on your own peace of mind. But because Saturn in Pisces is trining your sun, and it's at the 29th degree of fate, which would mean that something is on or over, and Pisces is a double-bodied sign. There could be two things in your life that are over. Maybe it's a business arrangement and then another personal arrangement or something like that. But an ending is going to do you a lot of good. Even two endings would do you a lot of good. So keep going, Cancer. Okay, what does it mean to a Leo? Well, Leo, Venus is still in your sign. This has been good news for you for weeks, because when Venus is in a person's sign, they always like to look their best and have fun, and your sign rules summer fun and parties and gambling and love affairs and sports and, you know, just having a good time. So maybe you've really been in the mood for all of that, Leo. But at the same time, there's definitely a betrayal. If it hasn't already occurred, it's on your doorstep, Leo. And it's really going to happen, because Pluto is opposing Venus in your sign. And Pluto represents people in upper management, in large corporations, government agencies, or institutions, which are really concentrated on the future, because it's in Aquarius, which rules the future, and they are not interested in people that are either clinging to their glory days from the past or don't have anything to offer new for the future. So I would say, since the moon in Aries and Neptune in Aries are trining that Venus in your sign today, Leo, you could have your mind on some sort of new beginning. It might be one that you're kidding yourself about, or that you have been kidding yourself about, because those two planets in Aries, which are trining your sun, are beleaguered because they're being opposed by Mars, the ruler of Aries, and it's coming right at them. And then Jupiter in Cancer is squaring them. They're not much help to you. And there isn't anything else in fire signs, except those two planets which are beleaguered right now. So you're on your own a little bit, Leo. And also, if there is a betrayal, which represents an ending, think of it as an opportunity for you to go in another direction that is would make you happier. Something that could be involving a betrayal or an ending is something that wasn't making you too happy anyway, Leo. So why stick around? I mean, you're a fire sign. Fire signs like to get going. And so this is a very good time for you. You know, don't worry about something ending right now, Leo. Either the situation or the job or the personal relationship wasn't making you happy anyway. So just go your own way. But if you're wanting to retreat to your past glories and live on them for the rest of your life, you might be doing it by yourself, Leo. Because Pluto in Aquarius is an indication for everybody that the future is on its way. And we will have to adapt to it. You may not feel like adapting to it right now. You might have been so successful doing what you're doing that you don't care if everybody else wants to go into the future. You can be pretty happy with where you are, Leo. So good luck. I hope you enjoy that. All right, what does it mean to a Virgo? Well, Virgo, this is a time, Virgo, when, watch out, Virgo, you're well asked to run into somebody who's just an old nag. I don't know if they're old, they could be young, but they want something, or they're not satisfied no matter what you say to them, or they can be nagging about something that you did in the past or something that you're planning to do in the future. They don't care, they're just going to pound on you. And that's because the sun is in your sign at 18 degrees today, exactly sitting on the unlucky south node of the moon. And Mercury, your own ruler, is in your sign at 15 degrees. So it too is conjuncting the sun. Okay, so that can make you very thoughtful and hopeful about things. But with the sun on that unlucky south node of the moon, you are sure to run into somebody that you would rather not have in your life, Virgo. And I would think the sooner you can get out of a sticky situation, you ought to do it. Because it's not going to get any better. And Saturn is at the 29th degree of fate in Pisces, opposing your sun sign. And so something is on or over that has been going on behind the scenes. Now, maybe it was something sad. Saturn rules time. Something had been going on for a long time, and it hadn't made you happy. Maybe that's over. But it's a little bit more likely that something that had been depressing you or holding you back or making you unhappy, whether it's somebody that's in your life currently right now or who was just around, and something that has been dragging you down in one way or another, that could be going on as well. And it's either got to be on or over, Virgo. You can't keep living like that. If you're living in sorrow about something that happened in the past, you can't do that. Nobody can go back in time. Time always moves forward, and we have to move with it. And the longer that you concentrate on things that are sad or unfulfilling or unrewarding, that's time that you're wasting on your future. That's time when you're wasting on being able to show the world all your potential. Virgos are smart people, and they're very methodical, and they're very organized. Virgo rules time management, and it also rules the traditional 6th house of work. Your job may be changing in the future, and it's going to be a little bit up to you what you make of that. And the reason why I'm saying that is because the next new moon is a solar eclipse in your sign at the 29th degree of fate, Virgo. You are going to have to make a pretty important decision coming right up. And if I were you, I would clean house first. Change your position to put yourself in a mental frame of mind. Yours is a mental sign. A mental frame of mind that's looking a lot more at the future than at the past. Just framing your mind toward tomorrow is going to really help you make a good decision for your future that is coming right up. So good luck. Okay, what does it mean to a Libra? Well, Libra, this is a time, Libra, when you can be sort of stirred up about things because Mars is at 22 degrees in your sign today, and it is opposing the moon at 25 degrees in Aries, and the moon rules our feelings and our emotions. It rules women, and it rules it rules endings because it rules Cancer, and it is opposing that Mars. But the moon is passive and gentle, sort of gets along. The moon rules the tides that flow in and out, not Mars. Mars is just a go-getter, but it is opposing the sign it rules, which is Aries. And so, Libra, since it's in your sign and it's opposing the moon and Neptune, you may have been really kidding yourself about a new beginning, or it can be a new beginning that could be a business, some sort of business arrangement, or it could be a partnership, because your sign rules partnership. And if you are in a partnership right now, there could be some matters that have to be straightened out, I think. And I would urge you not to show any anger about anything. And nobody's going to win if they get in a fight, because Mars isn't happy in Libra. And so, no matter how mad you get at somebody, Libra, this is not the time to show it. And it's going to be a whole lot better for you, since yours is an air sign and there's a grand trine in the air signs. Your sign has a lot of backup. It's just facing a lot of challenges right now. Well, okay. But you've got Pluto in Aquarius trining your sun, and you've got Uranus in Gemini trining your sun as well. You have backup. It's pretty strong backup too. But both of those planets, Uranus and Pluto, are now retrograde. You got to go back to the drawing board, Libra, and start over a little bit. And that's why if something's troubling you in a partnership right now, don't get mad at anybody. I would try to end the partnership. If it's bothering you that much, just say goodbye, okay? Because it would free your time up, and it would free your heart up a little bit to go back and ask yourself what you can do that would benefit you more in the future. And that would be a very good direction for you to be going in, Libra. And so if you have to say goodbye to the past right now in one way or another, that's better than fighting. That's better than suing somebody. Say goodbye to the past. Because Pluto is in Aquarius, the sign of the future. It's backing up your sun sign. It's going to be doing that for years, Libra. And so, switch from yesterday and start looking at tomorrow, because it's going to work out real well for you. the sooner that you do that. So think about it a little bit, okay? An ending, one or two of them, could do you a lot of good right now, Libra, because it would make you go in a new direction. And believe me, you would have influential friends behind the scenes, that's Pluto in Aquarius, that will help you get to where you want to go in the future if you just concentrate on that a little bit more. It could happen. So good luck. Okay, what does it mean to a Scorpio? Well, Scorpio, yes, once again, your rulers are still trining each other because Mars is in Libra and Pluto is in Aquarius, and they're trining each other, and Uranus in Gemini is trining both of them. That's the grand trine in the air signs where your rulers are right now. And Saturn in Pisces is also trining your Sun right now, but it is at the 29th degree of fate. And not only is it trining your Sun, but Jupiter in Cancer is also trining your Sun. Both of those planets by themselves are beleaguered right now. And there isn't anything in your Sun sign. So you're a little bit subject to the influences around you right now, Scorpio. And they could be favorable. I mean, Jupiter trining your Sun, that's going to go on for a year. So if you were anticipating a move, particularly back to an old neighborhood or to a place that is a little more reminiscent of the way your parents raised you, that would work out really well for you. In fact, you might be a little bit overdue for that, Scorpio. Scorpios have very deep feelings, and so the deeper their feelings are, the more sincere they are about them, and they don't change them very much. And so wherever you grew up, or whatever lessons your parents taught you, are probably just ingrained in you, Scorpio. And if you have strayed away from the directions that they were trying to guide you in, it would be a good idea to get back to that, because Jupiter in Cancer, which rules the home and the family in the last half of life and in endings, is going to be trining your Sun for a whole year. And your rulers are trining each other. But they're in air signs, and that's an indication that you could have a lot of new ideas right now, Scorpio. And they would tend to, even if they were longer term ideas, and they would take working with others a lot more, they would tend to work out for you in the future. That is a direction you should be, even though you might be going back to the different lessons that you learned when you were younger that helped make you successful. If you are now going back and sort of following those a little bit more closely, they would tend to take you much further into the future now. Pluto rules truth, and Pluto is your ruler, and it's in Aquarius, the sign of the future. It's squaring your Sun. And you could be coming up against other people that have different ideas about power, but that shouldn't bother you. That's your ruler. You should maybe try to make friends with other people that you don't necessarily agree with, but if they're powerful and you want to get somewhere in the future, you might want to try making some new friends right now, Scorpio, with powerful people. That wouldn't be bad. It would tend to, because your rulers are trining each other, it would tend to work out for you. So this is a time when, since Saturn is at the 29th degree of fate in Pisces, a double-bodied sign, and it is trining your Sun, you could be going through two endings right now. Or you may have ended one thing which is sort of still hanging on to you, and you're ready to end another one that is also a little bit too much for you as well. And my advice is do both. Do both. Because you're headed into the future, whether you want to go that way or not, Scorpio, because your ruler's in the sign in the future. It's going to be in Aquarius for years. So you got to keep up with what's new, Scorpio. And you might be able to do that more successfully if you go back to the way that you were trained years ago by your parents. Whatever guidance they gave you would help you go into the future now. And that's better than getting stuck with people that are wanting to live in the past, and that can cramp your style, Scorpio. You're ready to do more. Jupiter's trining your Sun, Saturn is trining your Sun. Gotta get going, Scorpio. Good luck. Okay, what does it mean to a Sagittarius? Well, Sagittarius, endings can work for everybody right now. I didn't say they're all happy endings, but they can work for everybody right now. And Venus in Leo is trining your sun, and today the moon and Neptune in Aries are also trining your sun. So that's 3 planets that are trining your sun, Sagittarius. Well, I think you can use the help, because you need other people around you, Sagittarius, right now that care for you, that you're popular with, and you need their encouragement right now. And the reason why is that there's 4 planets in mutable signs that are all dumping their challenges into your sign. And so it's not like you can look around and everything's looking rosy right now, Sagittarius. I don't think it is. And the reason why is Saturn in Pisces at the 29th degree of fate, indicating the possibility of 2 endings, is squaring your sun. And I would say, Sagittarius, the sooner the better. The sooner the better. Because once there's an ending, then you've got room for new beginnings. Okay, so that would be good. You'd like that. And then the sun is conjuncting the unlucky south node of the moon today, and Mercury is conjuncting that sun as well, and they are squaring your sun, meaning that a health issue or a banking matter, or people who are particularly a woman who is just picky, can be really bothering you right now, Sagittarius. And you could be thinking, oh, why me? Well, it's because these planets are in harsh aspect to your sun sign. But the one you really have to watch out for is that Uranus is retrograde now at 1 degree in Gemini, and it is opposing your sun sign. So you can be subject to sudden change at any time. Where would it occur? Right in your own backyard, right in your own neighborhood. Gemini rules neighborhoods. And Uranus is this planet of very sudden, surprising change, which is opposing your sun sign. So you don't have to look too far for something that could represent an ending, possibly 2 of them, and that are aggravating you anyway. And this could be a very good problem-solving time for you, Sagittarius. You could say, this is a problem, this is a problem, this is a problem, and then just sit down, since you are a very intellectual, smart person, and figure out how to end those problems. You could do it, Sagittarius. You're smart enough to do that. It's just, maybe you've just been thinking, oh, I'll live with it, I'll live with it. Why? Why? You have Venus and Leo trining your sun. Somebody really cares about you. Why don't you spend a little time with them? So, do you see what I mean? You got to clear the decks of problems that they're not your problems. You didn't make them. But it might be up to you to get rid of them and to end them. And this would be an excellent time to do that. Just cross them off your list as you're ending them. And don't go back to them either. So good luck. Okay, what does it mean to a Capricorn? Well, Capricorn. This is a time, Capricorn, when there are 2 planets in an earth sign, and that's the Sun and Mercury that are tightly conjuncting in Virgo, and Mercury rules Virgo, so it's very strong. Oh, but that Sun is exactly conjuncting the unlucky south node of the moon today, meaning that the only 2 planets that are trining your Sun in Virgo are having problems of their own right now. Saturn is opposing that, and Uranus in Gemini is squaring them, and on top of that, they're dealing with some very quarrelsome woman, or a nagging woman, or a demanding woman. Oh, that's too bad. To have for a planet to have an effect with either the lucky north node of the moon or the unlucky south node of the moon, the planet has to be on the very same degree. It can't be 1 degree away or 2 degrees. It has to be exactly on the same degree. And unfortunately, that's where the Sun is today, on that unlucky south node of the moon. So, Capricorn, if I were you, I try to improve your health if you can, because at least the Sun and Mercury are trining your Sun. But stay away from people that are sort of, they sort of want to make their problems your problem. And don't let that happen, Capricorn, okay? That south node of the moon, it's trining your Sun too, Capricorn. And so somebody who if they can't irritate one person, they might head in your direction and decide to irritate you, Capricorn. Well, don't be home. Or don't answer the phone. or take a sudden trip out of town. Because Jupiter in Cancer is opposing your sun sign. Mars in Libra is squaring your sun sign, and the Moon and Neptune in Aries are squaring your sun sign. So no matter which way you look right now, Capricorn, I don't think you have enough strength to defend yourself against different challenges that can be coming your way right now. And so I would suggest that you disappear a little bit. Just say that you have appointments that you have to, if somebody wants to come over and dump their problems on your shoulder, you can just say, oh, I've got appointments to keep, I need to go do that. Or if they just won't give up and they're nagging you to death, you can just say, I have a vacation plan that's been planned for a whole year, I gotta go, it's all paid for, and hang up. And don't answer the phone again. Whether you go on the vacation or not, I don't know. But just don't get involved with people that want to weigh you down. And it could be that some of them want to do that on purpose. It could also be that there could be news that's coming out behind the scenes that is unflattering to them. It would not necessarily be unflattering to you, but it could be to them. And that they may want to lay that problem on your doorstep. And if I were you, I just wouldn't take it. You don't need to. Your own ruler, Saturn, has come back into Pisces. It's at the 29th degree of fate, indicating that something is on or over, or possibly two things are on or over. That could certainly be to your benefit in your life, because Saturn, your own ruler, is now sextiling your sun. So think about it. You don't have to get involved in other people's problems. Why don't you just sit back and be real quiet or unavailable, because once they solve those problems, your life will get a lot better, just because you didn't get involved in the middle of it. Don't get involved in somebody else's mess right now, Capricorn. It's not going to do you any good, and you don't deserve that. So back away if you can, and just try to mind your own business right now. And don't get in any other sticky situations. There's too many planets squaring and opposing your sun. So your ruler is sextiling your sun. If there are one or two endings that are coming up in your life, Capricorn, you should embrace them wholeheartedly. That would be an absolute relief for you. And look at it that way. Okay, what does it mean to an Aquarian? Well, Aquarius, Pluto is in your sign right now. It is being trined by Mars in Libra and by Uranus in Gemini. So this grand trine in the air signs is holding. It's been going on for weeks. And I don't know if you are feeling the power of your own truth a little bit more. You should be feeling that, Aquarius. Or maybe you're starting to think of projects or ideas that you've had in the past, and maybe you're dusting those off and thinking that you could adapt those to the future plans that you could be forming instead. And I think that's true. If you wanted to take some idea, Aquarians are full of good ideas. It rules invention. If you wanted to take some good idea and tweak it a little bit, and do something with that new idea that can make it adapt to the future, I would go for that, Aquarius. You would certainly succeed at that. The more thinking you do right now, or the more communicating, or the more notes that you take, or information that you gather right now, the more successful you will be in the future. You really will be. And so this is not the time to sit around and moan about the past. And you could be doing that because Venus in Leo is opposing your sun sign. Okay, so there's a betrayal going around somewhere in your life, Aquarius. But Aquarius, I would say don't cry over spilt milk. Why? What's done is done. Go forward. Whatever endings are coming into our lives right now, to all of us, they are just the, they're the dark before the dawn. It just means that you're going to be able to open a new door and step into better light and more enlightenment for yourself. And you're going to be able to do that, Aquarius. Don't give up on any new idea you've got. I mean, it doesn't matter if somebody else doesn't agree with it. You're not asking anybody to agree with your idea. What you've got to do right now is develop it. Think about it. And thinking is half the work. If you don't really think about things and take notes and line things up and get better information and, explore the ideas that you've got inside of your head, well, they're never going to work. You have to do the homework. Yours is a fixed sign. Aquarians do not really give up. Once they've got an idea, they keep it. Well, now's the time to concentrate on your future, Aquarius. Do not worry about the past, because there's a solar eclipse coming up pretty soon anyway. So remember that the light of a new day always follows the darkness of night. There is always a new beginning on everybody's horizon, including yours. And it's up to you to get working on it, because you've got a planet in your sign that's never been there in our recorded time, Pluto, and it's a planet of powerful truth. And I bet you don't even know what the powerful truth is inside of you, because you may never have spent time developing it enough to make it work. But this is when you need to get on it, particularly with so many good planets back in your sign up, so good luck. Okay, what does it mean to a Pisces? Well, Pisces, Saturn is at the 29th degree of fate in your sign. It is returned to your sign. And your sign rules dreams and illusions, but it also rules deceptions and omissions. And so Pisces, since yours is a double-bodied water sign, and all the water signs rule healing in one way or another, and Pisces people are very compassionate, and they understand a lot more than other people think they understand, because they sort of pick up the way people feel. Well, right now, you're sort of lucky you've got the lucky North Node in your sign, Pisces, because the unlucky South Node, which is exactly opposing the North Node in your sign, is at 18 degrees, and it's being conjuncted by the Sun, and Mercury is conjuncting the Sun as well, and that is indicating a very nagging person, probably a woman, who is demanding that she, nothing satisfies her. You could help her in any way you want, she still isn't satisfied. And so she's nagging, or she's demanding, or she's in a bad mood, or, oh, poor her, she has so many illnesses, whatever. And, you have Saturn, a planet of stability and strength and time, in your sign. You've got to do something with it at a high level. And that is because you have another planet, the best planet in the heavens right now, is an exalted Jupiter in Cancer trining your sun. Well, it's trining that Saturn in your sun sign. And that Saturn is at the 29th degree of fate, sub-ruled by the rulers of Scorpio, Mars and Pluto, which means that you could be somewhat at a crossroads right now, Pisces, sort of wondering if you should go this way or if you should go that way, or maybe some other way. There could be more than two, I don't know. And since you can't do both, you're going to have to make a choice. There will probably be an ending in your life, possibly two, but one may have occurred under the last total lunar eclipse, which was in March, in Virgo, which opposed your sun sign, and now another ending can be occurring because you just had a total lunar eclipse in your own sign last Sunday. And so you might be going through two endings right now, Pisces, but let me just say they are a way of clearing out the cobwebs in your mind so that you can make a dream come true, which has really meant a lot to you. Even if you never followed through on it, I don't think you've forgotten it. And, whether it's a dream about a better world, or whether it's a dream about some sort of ultimate happiness that you've been dreaming about for a long, long time, it's up to you to be real honest with yourself about what direction you want to take right now, Pisces, because you can do it. And Pisces can go one way or the other, or possibly both. They're not judgmental. They have a lot of different kinds of friends. That's okay with them. But in the cold hard light of dawn, you only have one life to live, Pisces, and it's yours. And you can't split yourself down the middle. You have to go in the direction that deep inside is right for you. And it may involve moving back to a home or a place where you grew up, and a little closer to the way your parents were teaching you, because Jupiter is in Cancer trining your sun. It's only going to do that this year, Pisces. It's not going to be doing that forever. And it's doing that now. You need to take advantage of some sort of a move that you're thinking of making, or that you wanted to make in the past. It could be a move back to something that could represent, we can't move back in time, but if you're moving back to a place that makes you feel more emotionally secure, and around people that sort of think the way you do, and you're more familiar with that because that's the way you were raised too, that is going to be good for you, Pisces. And this is a time with Saturn at the 29th degree of fate in your sign, when it is time to let old wounds heal. Because that can represent an ending too, Pisces. If you're carrying some old wounds in your heart, or something that's made you feel depressed in the past, or that you were disappointed in, it's time to end those. End those thoughts and end those memories. Not because it wasn't important at the time that it happened, but you're not in that time, Pisces, and you only have one life to live, your own. And you need to be more in control of your own happiness. And so you can't be split. You have to just think, okay, what will make me happy today? Or who or what will make me happy for the rest of my life? And really settle down and stick to it, Pisces. It's up to you. And remember, when you're doing half of one thing and half of the other, you're only going to have an opportunity to end up with half of anything. What good does that do you? Stick to something that is whole and true. And sure, it could have ups and downs, but it could be something or someone or someplace that's always going to make you feel like you're real and whole and have a future. And you don't need to be afraid of anything, Pisces. Pisces are pretty good at running away from trouble. They know how to do that. But all you're going to get from that as you grow older, Pisces, is tired. That's not going to get you anywhere. It won't get you home. Home to whatever or whoever makes you really happy. And that's what you need to do now. And it has nothing to do with your past. It has something to do with going forward in your life. So end your past sorrows by letting them rest, put them away, up on a shelf, and start thinking about your future. Because you're the only one that can make it come true. The dream of your own happiness is in your hands, Pisces. It might involve someone else, but it's in your hands. And it's you that's got to make that dream come true. So good luck. An ending is going to do you a world of good, possibly two of them. They might have happened some other time this year. But it'll free you to go on and be who you are today and who you want to be tomorrow. And that's okay. A new beginning is going to happen for everybody. And it's not going to happen until other things end. So good luck. All right. Thanks so much for tuning in, and thanks to all the new subscribers. I hope you tell your friends about STARBORN, and I'll be right here next week to give you more information. Thanks a lot. Bye.